Hey, guys, welcome back to my channel. Today, I've got a juicy Lifetime movie to recap for you, and it's called Handyman from Hell. I mean, just the title alone promises some good old-fashioned suspense, right? So grab your popcorn, and let's dive right into this wild roller coaster of a movie. The film opens in a typical suburban neighborhood, where we meet our leading lady, Jodie Sweean. She's getting ready for a date while chatting on the phone with her friend. Now, this scene kind of reminds me of Drew Barrymore in Scream. Is she going to be the first victim? It's got that same eerie vibe. Jodie Sweean's character is leaving her husband for a hunky handyman named Nate, and her friend warns her to be careful. You know the drill, he might be too good to be true. But of course, love is blind. Cut to our introduction to Nate, who's busy polishing a massive piece of wood, because apparently, this guy loves wood. He's got that unconventional handsomeness going on and is rocking a tight black tank top. When Jodie Sweean's character shows up, it seems like they're about to get busy, but she throws a curveball and asks him about the future. Not exactly the sexiest pillow talk, but Nate is all about commitment. Surprise, surprise, he shoots her with a nail gun. Bye, Jodie Sweean. Now, we switch to Maggie, a turtleneck enthusiast who's recently moved into a new home. Her brother, Michael, and his wife, Harriet, live next door. Maggie is separated and runs an architectural business with her brother. She's heartbroken, crying alone in her living room, unaware that she's being watched by the handyman from hell, Nate, who's shaving wood with a knife. I told you this guy loves wood. At their office in downtown Pittsburgh, Maggie's doing yoga in her office because of some calmness app, and her brother Michael is getting annoyed by her lack of work ethic. Maggie is upset about her separation, and it's clear that her personal life is affecting her professional life. Maggie decides she wants to redo her kitchen and starts interviewing potential handymen for the job. But get this, they're all comedians. Seriously, it's like someone called in a favor for some comedians to join a Zoom interview. The bit goes on for too long, and the jokes are terrible. Honestly, it's a bit cringe. But Maggie realizes that the comedians aren't going to cut it, so she meets with a contractor who, surprise, shows up late. In the midst of all this, Harriet accidentally lets the cat out, and Nate just happens to bring it back, joking about kidnapping the contractor. Turns out, the contractor is tied up and gagged in Nate's truck. Nate shows that he's not just a handyman but also a tech wizard. He hacks into Maggie's computer, tracks her location on his phone, and starts wandering around the house, slowly unbuttoning his shirt one room at a time. Then he sees a framed news article, punches it, cuts his hand, and half-heartedly screams. He reconsiders and takes down the shattered photo. Maggie watches Nate work, and she's clearly into him. They almost share a romantic moment but are interrupted by Michael, who disapproves. He wants to run a background check on Nate but doesn't have his last name. Nate claims it's brothers, which is a pretty terrible lie. Nate has these weird monologues, possibly with a ghost brother, hinting at some revenge plot related to his family's past. These scenes continue throughout the movie, and honestly, they're a bit of a buzzkill, considering Joey Ariema's good looks. I'm not really into ghost mysteries. The next day, Maggie and Nate finally share a pretty underwhelming kiss. She catches Nate in a lie, but he charms his way out of it. There's a game night where Maggie's cheating ex-husband, David, shows up. She's reluctant but allows him to join. While they're playing, they stumble upon a clue, jealousy. Michael acts like a real jerk at the party, which turns out to be his birthday celebration, randomly. While cleaning up, David and Maggie reconnect, and Nate can't have that. He strangles David to death in his van, and Maggie believes David ditched her and cries in Nate's arms. And then, they end up in bed together. She describes Nate as serendipity, but honestly, it seems like it's just the hormones talking. The love scene is so good that they decide to start working on the kitchen together. Nate asks Maggie to show him her workplace. He seems oddly interested in the company files, but Maggie tells him they're locked up in Michael's office. Instead, she shows him some valuable paintings in a safe that belong to Michael. Nate hatches a plan to steal the paintings, kill Michael, and leave Maggie all alone. In the next scene, he's got Michael tied up in his car with duct tape over his mouth. Nate rants about how much he loves Maggie and how terrible all the men in her life are. He even goes as far as to cut off Michael's thumb to access the safe. Maggie starts piecing things together when she notices a missing framed article and does some online research. She discovers that Nate isn't who he claimed to be. He's actually Nate Hawkins, whose father died in a construction accident. This guy's got a dark past. Nate catches her researching and reveals his true identity. He admits he's in love with her, but he's not buying Maggie's act. He shoots her in the foot, and when Michael tries to save her, Nate knocks him out. It's getting intense. Maggie manages to grab a hammer and hits Nate, and they call the police. Nate gets arrested, but Michael's not looking too hot with a nail in his shoulder and a missing thumb. Harriet, being the fitness app enthusiast she is, notices something's wrong when she tracks their heart rates. A little weird, considering she's the wife talking to her sister-in-law about their sex life all the time. Things seem to go back to normal, but then Maggie receives a package from the state prison. It's a wood carving that reads, "I'm coming for you." Seriously, does no one check the outgoing mail in jail? The movie leaves us hanging there. So, that's a wrap on Handyman from Hell. It's got romance, deception, and a whole lot of wood, which is honestly more than I ever expected from a Lifetime movie. If you're into suspenseful, over-the-top thrillers, this one's definitely worth a watch. Be sure to like and subscribe for more recaps of your favorite movies and TV shows. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, stay tuned for more thrilling recaps right here on my channel.